We're going to start the show in a second here. We're just hanging out while people wrap stuff up. I still have to wipe, so I'm going to be back in a second. I'm kidding. Ian Gibson, actually, this is perfect. I can now address something, which is the fact that in ever since we started Local Chat, the podcast here, I have put together group chats with the person who's going to be on the call. And without fail, every single time, no matter who it is, be it someone Ian knows or doesn't know, when I message the group with the notes and the date or whatever, Ian simply writes, "Leave me alone." Which
it's a good bit.
I have broken things when I get a Discord notification and it's Ian saying, "Leave me alone." It is so...
Like it's funny to me because I'm sitting there on my phone and all of a sudden I just get this notification that's like, "You've been added to a group chat." And just leave me alone. You know, I'm like playing the curmudgeon in a way. So it's good to hear that my "leave me alone" message pisses you off when you receive it.
Off so much to the point where I have not touched anything in our establishing group chats until I'm about to make the call, and then there's no time for you to write "leave me alone."
It's just one of those where it's like I could be like, "Hi, welcome, thanks for being on Local Chat again, looking forward to talking to you later," or I could just be like, "No, I'm not gonna be fake saccharine sweet, leave me alone."
it's the equivalent of being like, "Didn't ask." Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Why are you talking to me?
And I like it as an opener because you're right. I have used it several times where we have people on for the first time and I've never met them. And it's like, I could be fake nice to them or I could just be me and leave me alone as me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. It is Local Chat, episode 141 of this here episode. I'm your host, Will Crosby. Joining me this week for the first time in that new shirt, it's Ian Gibson.
You know, I was literally looking at AliExpress an hour ago, looking at some new Selena shirts. I may have to pick up a couple new ones. This one's about a year old. It may be time for some more stuff. More
I was
going
to ask what that shirt is.
Selena.
It's Gabriel Luna as Selena.
I get so many compliments on this shirt. It's wild.
Never heard this far into the song before. David from Save Data is also here.
What the?
Sorry, I need to change the way I introduce guests. It's mostly Ian's fault, where I introduce Ian and then he just starts talking. When I should be like,
Just
"Ian's here," and you go,
guest
"Hi,
first.
hello, everyone," and then I say, "And David from Save Data," and then Ian
I'll
should
change it up
say,
next week. I'll change it up
No,
next
you
week, I
won't.
promise.
No, you-
Just introduce the guest first.
Shut up, David. That would put work
I
on me.
don't allow him to do that.
Yeah, it's not in
It's
his
the same
contract.
amount of work, Will.
Listen, there's a legally binding reason. Prima nocta? No. What's it called? Consummation?
Magna Carta?
Magna Carta, that's it.
Yeah, that's the one.
I ordered a shirt a la Selena off of AliExpress as well. I can't wait to wear it on my on the podcast. It's not Selena. It's someone else. Better, arguably
How much?
better.
Can I ask you how much was the shirt?
I think it was like $3.
It's solid. It's
That's
I
the
don't know what
appropriate
this
amount
is.
to pay for one of those shirts, yeah.
It balances
I bought
out
two
the
shirts off AliExpress. They were like $3-4, and they come as like nylon. Like I don't think it's called screen print, but it's like full print nylon. And honestly, I've gotten used to them because they're more durable than cotton shirts.
The chasing.
So-
stuff.
Well, yeah, they're
They're
plastic.
They're fantastic for like $3. It's great.
I
Plastics, man.
it balances out the two $27 shirts I ordered from Ireland the other
Jesus
day.
Christ.
I saw these Dark Souls shirts that I really, really liked, and I bought it, and I was like, and then I scrolled, and they had a Metal Gear Solid shirt
Oh,
with
yeah.
with Robot Boy on it from what's his name?
Raiden?
Rex.
No, the guy with the
Cyber-
Gray
red
Fox?
eye. Gray Fox, yeah, with
Gray
Gray Fox on it, and it says like a quote, and it looks really cool. So I'll wear that on stream too.
I also ordered a Yeti t-shirt for the Fire Emblem like week ago that finally shipped like yesterday, so excited for that. Good old Fire Emblem 7 t-shirt. Rare these
Ooh.
days.
I like a good Fire Emblem 7. That's Blazing Blade, because Binding Blade is 6.
Yes, Blazing.
And Sacred
yes.
Stones is 8.
Yes.
Jason, I hope you watch that clip and you're proud of me for knowing all of that. Moving on here into the show proper, we got this little chit chat section here. I've written down a tale of woe and hilarity that is likely to send you gentlemen into rolling fits of laughter. Actually, probably not. I hyped it up too much. The lovely and wonderful Chris Topher of Save Data and his wife Vic came over for board games. We do board games fairly often, and we played the Back to the Future video game published by Funko. It's not Funko Pop, but they made the board game. And basically, you're just trying to accomplish Back to the Future. It's weird. It also has Einstein and Marty's girlfriend in the past, because they just needed a way for there to be 4 players. So they just put them in the past, even though they're not in the past in the movie. So you're putting the card together. You're making the parents fall in love. There's some neat mechanics in it. You got to get the car to a certain spot. You got to make sure the parents... But one of the mechanics is you got to keep Biff away from the 2 parents, because Biff ruins everything. And so what you want to do is you want to go punch Biff and knock him out. You can knock him down and then do like 3 unconscious tokens. So basically, about halfway through the game, we finished all of the objectives, except you just have to wait out Biff until the very end. And so it just turned into me. I was just sitting on the square with Biff. He would, at the end of the turn, he would wake up or have movements. So he would get up, not be able to move. Then my turn came around. I would roll 2 hits, punch Biff in the face. He would fall down and be unconscious again. And it was about 8 rounds of that, of him just standing up, me punching Biff. And just every time it came around to my turn, I was just like, Biff buddy, come here. Like, occasionally he would get up and he would move a square away. And I just get to my turn and go, Biff buddy, where do you think you're going? And just move over to Biff's square, punch him in the face, lights out. So we basically finished this game halfway through and then spent about 45 minutes punching Biff in the face, to which I'm pretty sure I did irreparable damage to him. All that to say, not a great board game.
If you finish it halfway through on like your first play, that doesn't sound great.
Like, everything around the board game was cool. Like, all the as you're like, if you're failing, you flip over the tiles of that photo, so like the people disappear from the photo and everything. Like, it's got a lot of really good mechanics, but I feel like they didn't spend enough time to like figure out the end game where you can just literally beat the villain to death over and over again. Yeah, it's kind of crazy wild. Anyways, that's my turning Biff into a vegetable story.
Back to the Future having like a renaissance right now. So they got the Power Wash Simulator DLC too.
Do they? Oh, I think I saw
Yeah, they announced that a few weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
And then I feel like there's something else too.
There was a Mortal Kombat Easter egg.
Yeah, it was Mortal Kombat. I feel like they announced a video game or something.
Well, they had the Telltale series a little while ago, a couple years ago.
Isn't there a musical? Or that's a couple years old too.
Oh fuck! No, there is a musical. There's a musical
for everything, and they're all mistakes.
Yeah.
Wasn't the Spider-Man?
I'm glad
musical,
I can say that here. People go after me on that on my channel.
That's because we're adults here, David.
Right. Yeah. You're right. You're right. Yeah.
Moving on here in the chit chat section, David, would you like to tell us about your little PAX West excursion?
I would. It was a good time. Flew up to Seattle for PAX, stayed for the duration plus like an extra day and a half, 2 days basically. So had a good time walking around Seattle. Had a good time at PAX. It is always a pleasant surprise to go to a convention and just everyone's just nice. Yeah. It's weird because gamers, we have this stereotype, and it's mostly a multiplayer thing of like gamers are rude, little asshole trolls, and they all suck. But like at the convention, like everyone was chill. Everyone was super nice. Well, no, just walk up and talk. Very polite, very cool. They had a huge tabletop section as well, with like they had,
Nice.
who was it? Wormwood was there with like a bunch of their stuff. They make like tables and all fancy wood shit and stuff like that. For D&D, and hey, those tables are really expensive. I didn't.
I thought they went bankrupt, or was it a Wormwood like company that went
Geek
bankrupt?
Chic went bankrupt.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, no, they were there and had like model tables, and I was like, this is cool. I would looks at sticker price.
Yeah.
No, I would not like this table. Okay, $3-4 grand. I'm good.
Part of me is like upset because their dice towers are like $200. It's obscenely expensive, but at the same time, like they understand that the D&D demographic are so fucking stupid that they will pay that much just to be like, I've got it in cherry, I've got it in maple, and so honestly, good for them. They're
doing pretty good business. I walked past there a couple times, and I'm just like, I'm not buying this, but man, they doing well. Good for them.
Yeah, I would like to thank them and like Geek Chic for like informing me that you can get tables that have like a lid and you can put the stuff underneath. So now I can go and like get one of those cheaper somewhere else or make one myself.
Yeah. Yes. So that was cool. The con itself was a little weird in setup. Seattle Conference Center Convention Center added a new building, but it's like a couple blocks away from the other building. So like the convention was split between those two. Like half of the expo hall was in one, half was in the other. One of them had like most of the stuff, like expo hall, tabletop. Most of the panels were in that one building, and the other one just had half the expo hall. But it was super cool. I had a great time. Half of the old building also was the Nintendo Live at Seattle, which was not part of PAX.
Yeah,
but it was weird because a bunch of people go there that weren't going to PAX because it was free. It was just like a raffle system, and I went there on like the Sunday morning. So I had gotten in through the lottery. It was cool. Got my ticket, waited in line, took me to a new room where there was a new line. So that was cool. Didn't love that. Didn't love I thought I was done, and they moved me to a new room. I'm like, oh, that was a third of the line.
Oh man!
But I was committed, so I waited in line for like an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours. I had Pikmin I'll talk about Pikmin when I get to more stuff I'm playing. But so it wasn't too bad. But like I get in and it's all picture opportunities and games that are already out except for Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which I did play like a 15-20 minute demo of, and I can say that game is gonna be good.
Oh.
It is good. I'm a little surprised because it looked a little slow and clunky from the little bit of gameplay we've seen, but when I was actually playing it, it's not quite as fast as I want it to be, but it's not far off. And it has lots of weird new powers. The elephant is weird, and it's fine. Elephant's fine. But the like drill power is rad. I'm gonna very much enjoy the drill power, and they had some of the other ones that were super cool. So I played that. That was great. One of the other big surprises was the Prince of Persia game that's coming out in like January or February, I forget. Like the 2D action platformer one. Played incredibly. Like I saw the trailers, combat looks super cool. I was like, no way in hell am I going to be able to actually do any of the things in the trailer? And then it was pretty intuitive. It was like, even with a short 15-minute session, I was doing some of that stuff. So I was like, okay, this game's going to be rad. I had a few other like big standouts. One was don't install an update. I'm trying to look at my notes from PAX phone.
Install the update.
Some of their standouts: Pepper Grinder from Devolver's Publishing. I forget who's actually making it. Which is, if you played Ori and Will of the Wisps, there's a section where you get like the digger tool to like traverse the map, and it's kind of a platforming game based on that tool. And it played really well. Had a really good time with it. Movement was just incredible. Some really clever platforming and puzzles. I'm hyped for that one. Gumbrella, it's already out. I don't even talk about that. And the Crab's Treasure, also a good one. Dark Souls, but you're crab in the bottom of the ocean, and there's other crabs and lobsters and stuff that you're fighting.
Oh yeah.
From Aggro Crab, the studio who made Going Under, I think was their last game, like their roguelike. That that excuse me was pretty cool, and they had their really interesting booth. Shout out to Ink Inside, which I had not heard of. They only had like one couple stations. It is Saturday morning cartoon dodgeball RPG.
Ooh.
Which
I like a lot of those.
it gave me kind of Mega Man Battle Network without the card system vibes.
Okay.
And I was super into that. Played the demo, beat the like optional boss at the end, and they were like, "Oh, like only like one other person did I beat that?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, feel good."
Your game's too easy. You put your sunglasses back on and walked away.
And I got a little pin. I don't know where it is, so I can't show you. But they had one of the things that really got me. Like the writing was pretty good in it too, and they have a character you meet really quickly in the demo, at least, who going to find her, you think she's the cursed witch, and you're like gonna help her, and then you get to her and she's like, "No, I'm not cursed, you motherfucker. I'm the cursing witch." And it was a very good twist. She was a good character. I had a good time with her.
That's pretty good.
What else did I play? Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. It's a CRPG Warhammer 40k game. It's pretty cool. I'm not gonna play it because it's like 200 hours long. When I was talking to him, and I'm just like, this game's cool. I'm not gonna play that. But if that sounds awesome to you, it is. Combat system was pretty good. Writing's good. Just all around a good time. Just too long. It's from the people who made the Pathfinder CRPG.
So like
if you've played that,
I
forget what it's called. Yeah. It's the same people. What else was there? Other standout for me. This is a weird one. Clam Man 2 headliner.
Clam Man.
Clam Man. I didn't know there was a Clam Man 1. Apparently there is, but it's a different genre of games. Think of Disco Elysium, but not as like grim, and it's entirely like a comedy. It's got like most of what I saw were like ocean animal based people. Think kind of God, what's that show?
This looks like Spy Fox.
I don't know what that is.
Like Pajama Sam and all those games.
A little bit. It's closer to Disco Elysium, like it's point and click, but it's really heavy dialogue based. But writing a comedy video game is incredibly difficult. And at least from like the 20-30 minutes that I played, dude was nailing it. Solo dev, crushing it with all of this stuff. And also super fun guy to talk to. So highly recommend that one.
Apologies, I was looking
out for a while.
I was looking at Clayman 1. Clayman 2 looks like that, but Disco Elysium version of that.
Yeah.
You hit the nail on the head
there. Let's see. What else did I play? I'm skipping a bunch of things and talking about the ones I like the most. One that, if you don't mind if I go out of order, I kind of want to make the wish list spotlight.
Yeah,
let's do it.
That I did play at PAX, and it's Biomorph. You can wishlist this on Steam. Highly recommend that you do. It is the way they described it, and I think this is accurate, but I haven't played the first game. Is kind of Hollow Knight meets Kirby. So it's got an art style that's kind of similar to Hollow Knight, where it's cutesy in some ways and horror in a lot of other ways. A bit dark. Tone is kind of dark. But when you fight and kill enemies, you can morph, hence the name of the game, morph into those enemies, kind of like how Kirby gains their powers, but the enemies you morph into can have multiple abilities and you take their entire shape. And they go into like a collection and you can turn into them later too, which made for some cool Metroidvania style puzzles that you can solve because you can get a power, use it in areas you've already explored, explore more, get further. So that works super well. The controls are really tight. Really enjoyed it. Devs also a blast to talk to. I entered my cat into a raffle to get into the game, and I did not win, which did make me sad. So Raz is not in the game, which is a bummer. But somebody else's, like 39 other people's cats are in the game. So they're gonna be like, one of the collectible of the game is basically gonna be like finding people's cats, which is pretty rad.
That's cool.
But yeah, check that one out. There's a demo too, so you can actually like play most of what I played at PAX in that demo. I think they said they were going to update it to the one from PAX like soon, so it might be updated to the PAX version. What else on here do I want to talk about? Oh, mostly for Jason. I played Demon School, which is a turn-based RPG. It's a little Into the Breach meets like Persona, kinda.
Okay, I can see that.
So it's got like the tile system, and like you plan out your move, and then they all execute, and your enemies' moves execute and stuff like that. But the tone is very much Persona with a bit of horror, and that was super cool. And like, at least it was challenging, but part of that might have been me not understanding a couple of the mechanics. Got one of my characters killed the first turn because I didn't realize that I hit the end turn button without moving anybody. So
Gotcha.
just got murked real quick. And then also Persona 5 Tactica, got to play a bit of that. And hey, it's Mario plus Rabbids, but Persona 5.
Okay.
And I like all of those things, and they seem to work well together in the demo. They added some interesting extra mechanics too, like taken from the Persona 5 games. So you could do oh god, what's the move called where you pile up? It might be called pile up. You like surround an enemy with 3 people, and then you just like tag team on them and just like wail on the person.
Good
But
time.
it like happens in a group,
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Big fun time. But like they had that, they had like follow-up attacks, stuff like that from Persona 5 and Royal mixed in there. So it was pretty cool. And music had Persona 5.
Do you need to have played Persona 5 to play Persona 5 Tactics?
I genuinely don't know. I feel like regardless, my assumption is that no, but you will get a lot more out of it if you did play Persona 5 first.
Kinda
Same
like,
with Strikers.
Right. Like Final Fantasy, the remake. Like you would.
Yeah, like the remake's good on its own, but like if you played the original, it's like, oh, they're remake. Like that word has 2 meanings in this sense, which is pretty rad.
Pretty raz. He's not in the game though, so I can't.
He's
I
not
can
in the
take that
game,
joke back.
unfortunately. And then last one I'll call out is Rose and Locket. It was this is a weird game. It's a 2D action platformer, but it has a lot more like aiming weapons that isn't common in those games. So it's kind of got a little bit of Metroid built into it. The style of this game, incredible. I think they still got to work a bit on like fine tuning some of the gameplay and readability, but like style of Rose and Locket, absolute 10 out of 10. You seem to be like a personification of sin fighting against the other like 7 deadly sins, which is pretty freaking rad. And it seems like there's a revenge story going on. Like it's pretty cool. I'm very interested.
Do you know the name of the developer of that game? Because I know it, and it's pretty good.
I think I probably should have written down, but no.
Whistling Wizard.
Oh yeah, it's good.
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
It's pretty good. Yeah, played a bunch of other stuff too, but like those were, and that's still
those
a lot
are
of
the
games,
hits.
but those were a lot of the ones that I really enjoyed. There are other ones that I skipped, like Wizard with a Gun was there, but like that's not for me, so I didn't play that one. And I did play Gumbrella, but that's out already, so like just go play Gumbrella. Demo's out too, so like just try it out.
Well,
it was
wait
good.
for it to grain before you can play Gunbrella. Well, thanks for telling us about your little PAX West trip.
Panels also were super fun. Shout out to PAX Panels. I went to some of your friends from Giant Bomb. They're pretty cool folks.
Okay.
And
Can
I
I ask you a weird
also
question?
yeah.
Did you smell them?
No.
How how was the sound quality of the panels watching them in the room?
Honestly, pretty good for the most part.
Okay, because
There's like a couple where it was iffy, but
yeah, because Will and I we went to I believe it was the Giant Bomb PAX East panel, and we were probably like what 25, 30 rows back, and you could barely fucking understand them because of that speaker system. Like
oh,
it was like the way the echoes were converging.
Yeah.
You could hear them, but you could not understand them.
oh,
And
there
honestly,
was
that's one of the big things
no
that I'm
problems
like,
like that. No problems like
okay,
that.
that's
Uh,
good. I mean,
all the
I think
panels
I'm.
I saw were also in like the new convention center, which had like
Oh, okay, that's good.
was very nice. Had and I think a lot of this helped with sound quality. Like tons of just like wood panels hanging down from the ceiling that I think kind of helped to
Nice,
absorb some of that
nice.
echo and look rad as hell. It's kind of got like that driftwoody look, but like polished. It was very nice.
Yeah,
New
because
convention building is rad.
now that I've been to several conventions, PAX East is quickly becoming, I don't want to say one of the worst because it's not terrible, but PAX East where it's at and the convention center is not good. So I'm excited to go to PAX West for the first time, hopefully next year.
Oh, it's great. Like as long as you get one of the hotels that's like associated with the event, they're all a couple blocks at most from the convention center, so short walk there.
Mhm.
They mail you your badge ahead of time, so you don't gotta go through pickup, which is great.
Yep.
Fuck you, Anime Expo. I don't know if their policy around that changed, but boy, do I never want to go there again because of that.
Smelly
And
wine.
yeah, it's split up really, at least with the separate convention center buildings this time. It actually split up the crowds a lot too, because you had like not everyone's trying to cram into one building, so some people are going to the main building, some people going to side building. There's a secret entrance to the original main building that
Ooh.
people don't know about, that
World
they
War
kept
II
pushing people
bunker.
away from. There's like an annex to the old building that had like free play consoles. A lot of the tournaments are held there, and like a merch booth, but no, like there's no panels, there's no real expo hall, but there is a single escalator that goes into like a little side offshoot of the expo hall from there that people don't know about. So
Oh.
sneak in there, and when they tell you it's the merch line, are you there to buy merch? Just say yes and then go up the escalator. They're not going to stop you.
Yeah. What are they? Merch police?
But overall, I had a great time. Panels were great. Jenna Stieber, shout out to her. She used to be from Polygon, but she did a few panels that were all good with like girlfriend reviews. She did one with them that was really entertaining, and did another one with Lucy, Tam, and Jan from Giant Bomb, and another person who I am forgetting. Can't remember who the other person was, but lots of good panels, lots of fun stuff, and lots of just like informative panels too. Like if you're a game industry person or want to be a games industry person, there's lots of cool panels about networking and like how to hone skills and things like that that are fun to attend. So shout out to PAX. PAX is super fun.
Shout out to PAX.
Cool.
Can't wait for E3. Thanks, PAX.
Rest
Moving on.
in pieces, literally.
Rest in pieces. Video games. We've been playing them this week. We've been chugging them down like they've been made of cheese. Ian has been playing literally nothing. He deleted it, so he didn't have to talk about his Minecraft and the weird anime women he builds in it. So we're gonna skip right on down to Will, since I'll give David's throat a little break.
I'm trained. It's fine.
And I'll talk about the games I've been playing this week. I finished Toem, a game of photography and fun. I have 100%ed it. I have all the achievements. It is rare that one 100%'s a game these days, especially me. So I was very excited to do it. What?
I'm sad.
Why are you looking
I'm
at me
never
like that?
100%.
That's not. You've told me multiple times that you used to be and you still kind of are an achievement hunter, and that you purchase old games when they come on sale just to get the Chivos.
Yeah, getting achievements in games is not the same as 100%ing a video game.
It's close enough. It's close
I
enough.
mean, to be fair, Tome's
Absolutely,
really
it's
easy
not.
to 100%, but
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Get him, David. Get him.
I went back in and did all the stuff in it. It was fun, and
unless
I
you get the
enjoyed
bug
it.
that I got.
And that game's great, except for the bug that David got. And I took some really stellar photos that I keep meaning to go extract.
Just make sure if you play Toem, completely finish everything you need to do in Bosto and the rest of the game before doing the final event in Bosto. Otherwise, your save can get absolutely fucked.
Hmm.
Don't get fucked. Although I did exactly the opposite of what you're saying, so I think it's fixed. 'Cause I did.
Oh, they
absolutely
told
not
me they
finish
wouldn't
it.
fix it. I literally messaged the devs and I was like, "Hey, are you gonna fix this?"
Oh
And
wait,
they're like,
no.
"No."
I beat no. I beat the entire game for no. I don't know. I'll message you if figure out how I did it.
Well,
and
either way,
then-
my save's corrupted. I'd have to replay the whole game, which I'm not gonna do.
do it. It's perfect. It's a wonderful game. I love it. Go play it. It's great. Moving on. I tried out a little bit of Lies of P. I played about half an hour. It feels like a Dark Souls game. I couldn't quite get the dodging down. I was getting the parrying pretty well. But the annoying thing was, like, if a creature does a multiple attack and you parry the first of the attack, it doesn't, like, cancel the other two attacks. So you need to, like,
Oh yeah,
perfect
no, that's
parry
a Dark
the other
Souls
two.
thing.
But I feel like I'm used to in Dark
Or
Souls.
sorry, that's
if
a Sekiro thing. That's a Sekiro
yeah.
thing.
It's not. I don't think, because I don't remember that in Elden Ring. Like, if you parry something, usually you get the riposte pretty quick.
No, that's definitely a. From what I've heard, more people have compared it, have said it's Bloodborne aesthetics with Sekiro combat.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting. I like the setting is really cool. It's like Pinocchio, like it's basically like all the robots and stuff in a sci-fi movie are like automatons and puppets, and they like turn against everyone, and you don't know why, and you pick up Jiminy Cricket in a little thing, and you have to and like a little glow jar, and you gotta bring them somewhere. So it seems interesting. I heard there's a couple bosses that are tough, so we'll see how it fares when I get to them. But for right now, I'm only a little bit in. Then I put my little mitts on Supraland 6 Inches Under, which is a pretty interesting game. I did not play Supraland, the first one, although I want to say I watched the Giant Bomb quick look of it. But I just loaded up
this game is.
Supraland 6 Inches Under. It's interesting. It's very like tongue-in-cheek game developer references. You like spawn into the game. There's a guy in a room near you who you're just like, tell me the history of this place, and he just explains the first game in like 3 paragraphs, and then it's just like, oh, and then you walked into this room and asked me what this game's about. And then it starts off and everyone's like blaming you for everything that's going wrong. And then a big event happens and you find yourself starting the game. You're collecting coins, and with those coins, you're unlocking powers. So, like, at first, you're, like, struggling to collect 10 coins so you can buy the ability to crouch to get all of the coins that you can see underneath tables. And then, once you get all of those, you buy the ability to jump so you can jump and get all the coins. And then it's just,
fantastic.
like, solving little puzzles and stuff. It's fun. It's got a good, like, tone to it. The writing is genuinely pretty funny. And like the solutions to stuff, so I that's something I'm definitely gonna go back to. But
what got you to play this in the utterly packed year that is 2023?
After I finished the Tragedy of Starfield, I was like, I'm not ready to like commit to a giant game again. So let me play a bunch of indie games. So I booted up Toem.
Okay.
Off of the recommendation of someone. And
I probably have recommended that before.
Yeah, I didn't like the look of it from the screenshots, but it wasn't until I actually played the game that I realized it was 3D, like you could spin the camera. So I was just imagining it a different game, honestly. And then I was like, oh, let me try out Supra 6 Inches Unders because I installed it for some reason. And then I saw Liza P was out, so I installed that. Actually, I installed Liza P, and while Liza P was installing, I played Supra. And then that all led me to Venba, which is a video game I believe I know David has played. You played it on stream, right? Played and finished it on stream.
Yeah, we did a whole playthrough on the Save Data channel with myself, Vic, and Zach.
Yes, so Venba is a visual novel sort of game with intermittent little gameplay sections where you are cooking food. It is the story of two South Indian immigrants to Canada. And they do, I know, as I'm explaining this, I'm remembering you explain it. They don't necessarily speak English very well. They speak Tamilin? What was it?
Sorry, I muted myself on accident. Tamil or Thamil.
Tamil, thank you. Yeah, I was like, how did David mute himself right when he's telling me the answer?
I thought I was muted, started talking, and then went to unmute myself, and I muted myself. So that's.
So when you're talking, it's white text, and then when the son's growing up, because you have a child, and it's going through the different chapters of the life of them in Canada, it is the English is in gold text, and then as the kid learns better English, he'll talk a lot more, and it'll cover it up with like splotches because you as the mother have to take a second to understand what he's saying in English, which I thought was a really neat mechanic to like show that difference. Overall, I'll go through this briefly. I enjoyed the story of the game. I thought it was a really neat, like, immigrants in Canada dealing with raising a kid. Oh, do we raise him with the cultural values of India? Do we let him choose for himself? What happens if he doesn't like this, that, and things that happen to that family? As far as it being a video game, there's the in-between sections between those where you are cooking meals. It's all based around the food. So you are cooking the different meals, and you have to read the cookbook that is messed up a little bit from your mother because it's damaged and everything. They're like short, little, tiny little things you're doing to make the food. And this is a video game. It's 100% a video game. But part of me is just like, it is more of an experience, I think I would rather explain it as, than a video game.
Yeah, it's definitely a game you play for the experience more than the gameplay is minimal and fine.
Exactly. It took me an hour and 20 minutes to complete the game. It is very short. It's very impactful and great. But as far as like me being like, is this a video game? How would I rate this video game? Everyone's praising this game, and I think it deserves that praise, but I don't think in the long run it's a great video game. More of the fact. I think it does everything else well, except me being like, oh, this should be on like a top 10 list, because like I think other games deserve to be video games, but as an experience, I extremely enjoyed it, and I highly recommend playing it, especially since it's on Game Pass. And also I learned I learned about a ton of delicious Indian food that I need to make immediately.
And the vast majority, if not all of the recipes, are pretty accurate to like real life. And a lot of the sounds that they use for the sound design of the game are literally the sounds of them making that food. Like the sound designer would cook the thing, have a mic 2 inches up from the pan, like as it's cooking, capturing the sound.
Slurp, slurp.
It made me realize in how many countries that there become specialized tools for specific food to that country that you don't see anywhere else, but is so common. They have all these, devices, and I'm like, I don't own any of that, and I don't want to own it to mess up this recipe. Like, you don't consider that.
We did for our like bigger stream a week or two ago. I made the biryani based on from that game.
I love
it was really good. So
biryani's dope.
And most of the reason I chose that recipe was like, I don't have the thing I need to make these other dishes.
You looking at me weird, Ian?
Bogo
biryani.
Buy one, get one.
Buy one, get one, yeah. I used to get random texts from the Indian restaurant in Jersey City that just said Bogo biryani and no other information. And I was like, fuck
perfect.
Well,
that's perfect.
I think Vic gets the same ones.
Oh, does she?
Yeah, they were talking about it during our stream. Like, oh man, I
love it. Text. Just 2 words. That's all I need.
That takes me back to buy one Bogo shawarma at Snack Halini in Beirut. fucking poor college kid, I would get 4 shawarma and 2 sodas for $4 on Tuesdays because it was BOGO.
Damn.
And it was the best. It was the best shawarma in town. It was fucking great.
Oh, damn! I want shawarma now.
Yeah, now I want to make shawarma. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then finally, to round out my week of crazy video games, I have started the Alan Wake remaster. Mostly because there's been a lot of stuff coming out about Alan Wake 2 and how terrible it is and how awful it's going to be, and it's going to be the worst game ever. And everything I'm saying is wrong. It looks awesome and amazing. I can't wait to play it. And I'm like, let me replay Alan Wake and get caught up. It's been like 10 years. Actually, it's literally probably been 10 years. Yeah, it's good. It starts off with a bang. Karen was kind of into it when I was playing out there, and the Alan Wake's voice actor is awful and terrible, and is not good. Except for like certain scenes, he's great, but then all the other stuff just sounds like a person. You know what? Actually, I have to take that back. All of his dialogue sounds like a person reading a manuscript or a book, but they're not like narrating it. They just sounds like they're reading it.
Okay.
So
yeah.
maybe it is good. But that
Can
game's
I ask you
great.
a question? Shut the fuck up. There's a question that has been. I thought I've never played Alan Wake. I've seen a little bit of Alan Wake.
Yeah.
I always thought it was like a slow Silent Hill, you have a flashlight type of game. But then I think a year ago you told me that there's shooting in it and a decent amount of shooting. And so I still don't understand what is this game like? What does it actually play like? What does it feel like? What are you doing?
It's like a third person. It's like a third person shooter. It's pretty much third person Resident Evil, but with jumping. So you you have a flashlight. The enemies are like darkness, and as they come towards you, you aim your flashlight at them, and it'll slowly burn the darkness away. Or you can hold to really flashlight them, and it'll really melt the darkness off of them. And then once the darkness is essentially their shield, and then once that's gone, you can shoot them and kill them. And then when you stand in the light, it gives you. So it's basically big, long, linear levels that you're just working your way through, and then you hit the end of a chapter. It's very TV. Like, as soon as you finish the chapter, it's like previously on Alan Wake, and it'll like catch you up to speed.
But in terms of gameplay, it's kind of like Dead Space, where you have largely linear. There's enemies, but it's not like scary. It's not stealthy necessarily. It's just you're not. There's horror-esque mechanics to deal with the enemies, but it's not a horror game.
Yeah, it probably, I would say it plays pretty similar to Dead Space.
Okay. I think I know what this game is now. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's fun. It's worth it. I'm excited to be replaying it because I'm like, from the get-go, I'm picking up on things. Like, I feel like the last time I played Alan Wake, I didn't understand anything that happened in that game. And now this time I'm like, oh, look, it's the two guys in the rock band from the rock band level. Like, oh, let me actually listen to what they're talking about now. Or watch the FMV portions on the TVs. Like, pay attention to everything.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I
how was
love
the
those portions of
remaster?
Control. I haven't seen that. I haven't played Alan Wake, but I like the FMV TV shows.
The remaster's good. It is. I feel like if I need to define what a remaster is, this is literally a remaster. It is the same exact game that came out on the Xbox 360, but up-res, textures up-resed, 4K and everything. Like, all the animations are straight out of the 360 era with, like, weird arms, weird mouth movement. It just seems straight up-resed, maybe a little bit of font treatment. But other than that, this is like, I think this is the go-to definitive. That is a remaster. That's all they have done to it. I should look up to see exactly what they've done with it, but to me, it feels and plays exactly the same. And it definitely, cutscene-wise, animates the exact same way. Which is interesting. That is all the games I've been playing this week. David, would you like to quickly take us through your video games?
Sure. Did Chris talk about Sea of Stars last week?
Yes.
Okay, I'll skip
Yeah, a
Sea of
little
Stars
bit.
then. I'm
did a
like
little
less
bit.
than halfway through, and it's very good. I'm liking it a lot. Chris gave more detail. I have been playing Pikmin 4 though, and Pikmin 4 is a perfect. I'm doing something else and want to still play a video game. Because man, the writing in Pikmin 4, it's nothing. No, like I know it's a kids game, but like it's still nothing. They're just like, oh, we sent Olimar to this planet. He crashed, so we sent a rescue group. They also crash, so we're gonna send you, and then you also crash. And I'm just like, okay,
Stop
that's the
sending them to the
premise.
planet.
All right, and then you get there and you
God.
find out that like 20 other ships came that weren't like official and also crashed. I'm just like, what is? No one
The
can
hell is
drive in
happening?
this galaxy. Like,
All drunk.
no one can
Oh my
park. It's like
God.
living in LA. But like, hey, the last Pikmin game I played was Pikmin 1 back when Pikmin 1 came out. So it is fun to come back and play Pikmin for the first time in like 20 almost years.
Mhm.
I played Tinykin I think earlier this year or late last year,
Yes.
which is what gave me the bug to pick up Pikmin 4 because I was like, oh man, Tinykin pretty good, some Pikmin elements, but platforming instead of all the other stuff that Pikmin does. And Pikmin 4 is very good. I don't think it's great, but I do think it's very good. The Pikmin elements cool, puzzle solving. There's a bunch of dungeons basically that you go through, lots of cool puzzles. There's like 8 or something Pikmin types now. There's a lot, and some of them, I'm be honest. I haven't 100% of the game yet. I'm in the post credits level at the moment. But at least at the point you hit the credits, like 2 or 3 of those Pikmin types you get are like pretty close to the end. You get like 10 of the Pikmin, you use them once, maybe twice, and then never again because if they die, you're never gonna get another one. So like that was pretty disappointing. Like they give you flying Pikmin. They give you 10 of them. That's it. And they're fine.
Are there any towers
They
around?
give you like the white poison Pikmin. I don't remember. I don't know if they're in other games or not. They give you a few of those. They're helpful
Wait,
for a couple.
white poison Pikmin?
Yeah,
Anthrax?
they're resistant. They're resistant to poison.
Oh, they're resistant to poison because
Oh,
they
I
are.
think they also poison enemies.
Oh,
They're
okay.
poison.
Okay.
They're the cocaine
but like
Pikmin.
they die
toxic.
super easy though. So like you
Toxic
don't even really
whites.
want to use them. But like they give you these Pikmin that are like super specialized, so you only really use them a couple times, and then whatever. They do give you the dog in this one, and the dog is basically all the Pikmin types, but better. Because you can use currency you get to like upgrade him to be resistant to all the same things that the Pikmin are resistant to, basically.
Dope.
So it's like his name's Ochi. Very cute dog, very cute little guy.
That's
But
a
like
good
he can
name.
fire resistance like red Pikmin. He can swim like blue Pikmin. He can what's the yellow one? You get
Fly,
like a collar
like,
that resists electricity. Okay, the flying he doesn't get. He doesn't get the flying.
Poison like
He can be
white
toxic. He can be toxic.
Yeah,
like
no,
white
he gets the
Pikmin.
resistance to toxicity. He doesn't become poisonous, but he becomes resistant to it
he's
with stuff
woke.
he can buy.
I mean, he's not woke.
He like literally can upgrade him train
can
him to
cancel
the point
people?
where he's as strong as 100 Pikmin and can just like lift up anything. Ochi's rad. Shout out to Ochi. He makes the game great. I did really enjoy that guy. And then they also add like these night battle things.
Like
Oh,
K night or N night?
And
And
night.
night.
Gotcha. I got really excited for a second.
No, they have these like night battle things where like you go out at night when all the enemies are really aggressive and you're not supposed to go out. That's the whole reason why you end your day or whatever. And you get these like glow Pikmin, which are exactly what the name describes. They're Pikmin that glow. And you get more of them and you beat back the
Chernobyl
enemies.
Pikmin?
And at the end of the level, you get some sap that you use for a story related thing. And that's it. All the levels are exactly the fucking same. I don't know why these are in the game. They kind of suck, if I'm being honest.
Isn't that the versus mode?
No, that's Donburi battles.
Oh, okay.
Which are different. Those are kind of fun because they more than other Pikmin parts, they've got some like actual urgency to the things you're doing. Like nothing else in Pikmin has urgency. You can take your time, do whatever. But like the Donburi battles, you're fighting against another explorer or whatever, who also has a dog and Pikmin, and like you're fighting to be like the most efficient, basically. And some of they're fun. I don't like the way they show them on the screen, like on especially in handheld mode. Probably not a big deal if it's on the TV, but in handheld mode, you get the left half of the screen, and then it shows the CPU perspective on the right half of the screen.
Fucking why?
Which again, on the TV, probably not a big deal. Handheld mode, I now have half a Switch screen to do my stuff on an already small and not great screen because I don't have the OLED one.
If you're playing against CPU, is there a valid reason for you to be
no?
Able to see
there's no reason for me to see what they're doing.
Fuck off. So they basically just
I would get it if you're doing multiplayer.
CPU.
If you're doing multiplayer, which it supports, it would make sense to do that. But like CPU's dumb as hell. Like you don't need that. just be efficient and you're
lazy.
Good.
That's fucking lazy.
So yeah, it would probably run better if they didn't do it too. Whatever. But other than that UI piece, which sucks a lot, those battles are pretty fun.
Cool.
But overall, having a lot of fun. Pikmin 4 is good podcast, or like watching TV and just want to play something type of thing.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Where were the white Pikmin on January 6th?
We know. You don't have to answer that. We know.
I'm not going
to.
We know.
Toxic white Pikmin. I think you know where.
We all know Ochi. Is Ochi the name? Yeah. We all know Ochi led them down the other hallway.
No.
Away.
No, Ochi's great. Don't do that to Ochi.
No. Ochi's the good one. Ochi's the good one.
He led him the wrong hallway.
He led him down the wrong hallway.
David, you gotta catch up on your January 6th canon. Come on now.
Yeah, okay. I mean, they were all actors.
I thought you meant something else. Ochi's the one. Last thing is I did finish Baldur's Gate 3.
Congratulations.
You did finish
done with the game.
Congratulations.
I didn't 100% it, but like I pretty much did everything. Because like I didn't go back and redo sections to get all of the options and everything.
Yeah.
But I did all the content I can for one run. It was a great game. I do think the end of the game was kind of lackluster, if I'm being honest. A lot of the companion quest endings were not great or underwhelming. And like a few of them, I like Asterion mainly. I picked an option and then he took a big not in character turn. And I was just like, that's interesting. Okay, cool. Sure, I don't like you anymore, but I'm just gonna put you on the bench anyway, where you were sitting before. So whatever.
Wait, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what you're talking about, and I don't want you to spoil it. But you're telling me Asterion's an asshole? The guy that tries to stab you and rob you when you meet him, and then tries to vampire you while you're sleeping?
Very different level of asshole. Like there's that, and then there's the other thing. So
okay, that's fair. Because I don't know what it is, but my thing is like everybody's like Asterion, and I'm like, I kicked that fucker out as soon as he bit my neck. I was like, get the fuck out. No, I kicked him out of the whole fucking camp. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Oh no, I just benched him because I was like, I want to see that juicy content, whatever it is.
That's fair.
So I benched him and then saw the rest of his stuff, and I was like, some of the rest of his stuff was cool. And then it was the ritual thing at the end. I was just like, okay, whatever.
Okay.
But there's a few of them where I'm like, this feels like a letdown after a lot of build up for a character. A few characters who just their stories did not feel done. Karlach mainly did not feel like her story was actually finished, and and from what I've heard, they cut a bunch of content that would have involved her, so that kind of makes sense. They apparently cut they were going to do an Avernus section of the game, and they cut that, which would have involved her a lot. So that makes sense why she feels not finished, because she's not.
Do you think there'll be a Baldur's Gate 4?
Oh, with how
Oh,
huge
yeah,
this
yeah.
game's been,
No,
absolutely.
sorry, but I mean more of like, does the story be like, and then, or
I feel like with how much it can branch, they won't do that. Because like the ending can go in so many different
Yeah,
ways that I feel like they will
that's a
do a
good point.
4, but it won't be a continuation.
God, yeah, that was the crux of my question. So you think 4, like, hesitantly, I wonder if a Baldur's Gate 4 could be set somewhere other than Baldur's Gate. Like, do they
I
want to
mean, they
toss the
could.
name cachet enough to do
I
that?
feel like they probably do want to do that, but could I see them do something like Baldur's Gate 4 : Neverwinter? Yeah, they could absolutely do something like
Yeah.
that.
But they could also flip it. They could have you Act 1, you're in the city, and then the rest of
Yeah.
it, all the surrounding
True.
areas, etc., completely different.
Or go to other cities, stuff like that. And I would expect
Yeah.
something like that, especially if they start on it soon and can like kind of reuse some of the work they've done compared to starting from ground zero.
Yeah.
But overall, I still had a great time with the game. Definitely going to be high up on my top 10 of the year. I just felt like the ending did not hit with me, both for a lot of characters and like just as an ending in general. I was like, okay, some of these options pretty bad. Don't feel I feel like to get the good option, I had to hit like 3 nat 20s in a row, and
Mhm.
that sucks. That's like the good option. Cause listen, y'all, I have bad luck in D&D, and it applies to video games. Like, I critical failed with advantage like 5 times.
Oh man.
Damn.
Like, which shouldn't happen. But yeah, I had a great time. Still one of my favorite games of the year. Just feel like they didn't land the ending on it.
Nice. I'm excited to get back into it. I left off in Act 2. I think towards the end of Act 2. So eventually I'll get back into it, but I'm gonna take it.
Yeah.
Act 3
I left off.
is deep.
Yeah, I got to Act 3. I did the circus at the start of Act 3, and then I went on vacation for like 5 days, and I came back, and there's too many video games going on, so I want to go back to it, but I feel guilty about leaving the other ones behind. So at some point I may go back, but even if I don't, I had so much fun with the time that I put in.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It's so
great.
good. I like what I basically I got back from PAX, and I got back on like Tuesday night, and then had Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off work, and just Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I know life this game, and went from like
Nice.
Act 1 in like 4 days.
Cool.
Jeez. That's wild.
Game's great.
Moving on, we're gonna hit the news quick. Right here, perfectly on time. We really segmented the timeout in this podcast well. And we're nice and early for some news. So yeah, time for the news. It's time for the news. Folks. Oh, you switched the order around. I was about to make a joke, but I can't make a joke leading into this one.
Go ahead. It's epic.
Oh wait, pause. So Epic Games cut around 830 jobs today. Yeah. Nightmare.
Yeah. What was it? 19%?
16% of their
16%.
workforce. Yeah.
If you flip the 6, it is 19.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. Some of the cuts technically weren't cuts, but still, it's bad. Because they spun out Bandcamp, and it seems like they sold Bandcamp to another entity, and I don't know if they're including that in that 16% number. Also, I forgot they own Bandcamp.
They bought them a year ago.
Yeah.
They haven't had them long.
And then, I mean, not Take-Two, Embracer's feeling that way with Gearbox as well. And then they also spun out, what was that other company?
It was Super Awesome, which is a kid tech company.
Yeah, that's right. They spun out a kid tech company as its own entity, which they probably bought. And now they're just like, you know what? We don't want you anymore. You're your own thing, except we're keeping up one piece of you, which is probably why we bought you.
Yeah.
And they laid off so many people.
I mean, it's tough. I mean, they hit it big with Fortnite, and they were making a shitload of money. And the way Tim Sweeney explains it is, they used that money to balloon the company. They thought that would continue, so they kept ballooning the company to a point where they were spending more money than they were making because they expected profits to continue to grow. And that didn't happen. I think for me, one of the most curious things that he said is sorry, this article doesn't have it, but one of the things he blamed it on was that Fortnite recently introduced creative revenue. So instead of all the skins being made by Fortnite and Fortnite makes the money, now you have experiences and skins, etc., I believe, that can be made by the community and bought by the community. And Sweeney didn't realize that smaller revenue share, that Epic would not be making 100% of that sale anymore. They would be making a smaller portion because some of it goes to the original creator. And because so many people are buying those creative assets and not the Epic assets, they're making less money, even though people are still spending a lot of money in Fortnite. And it's like, yeah, how did that not fucking factor into your consideration? Like, if you're going to open a marketplace, sure, you're going to make revenue, but you may make less overall. And I don't know. It's tough, but
being a product manager person, living in a product manager world, knowing many other product manager people, I'm sure they were like, this revenue's only going to go up. We'll attract additional dollars through this. And instead of additional dollars, because it's not a magic well of wealth that's just going to be ever giving. Unless you're Bezos. People just shifted their money to the assets made by creative because you can buy niche things that you like rather than whatever Fortnite partners with for a license, which I don't know that I super believe the cut thing, because like anytime they did a license deal with an entity, that entity is getting probably a significant cut of that license deal. The creators, I think, get 40%, and Epic keeps 60 on their creative stuff. And I would be shocked if the licensing deals for a lot of the skins weren't like 30-70 or somewhere in that ballpark. So I'm a little sus on that reasoning. I more lean to they ballooned a bunch, and that's a short-term thing. You can't, like, you're not gonna keep up.
Can't do that forever.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they ballooned a ton, and now they made bad business decisions, and like almost 1,000 people lose their jobs.
Yeah, especially in this industry, just because you have a hit that's making you money now, you cannot in any way whatsoever think that that is a faucet that is going to continue to provide income, revenue, profit, etc. It could be turned off at any minute. I mean, just think about PUBG. PUBG was making money hand over fist, and Fortnite came in.
PUBG's still making hand over fist money, just different realm now.
Yeah. So it's exactly like you're saying. They ballooned, which is okay. They were making a shitload of money, but then they just kept fucking going. I can't remember the stats, and I don't want to pull it out of my ass, but I'm pretty sure they went from like 500 employees to like over 6,000 because of Fortnite. Like, they went crazy, and they bit off more than they could chew.
I also want to point out, they still, if Ian, do the math. If 16% of their employees are 830, how many total employees do they have?
It's 830 divided by 16. It's 5,188.
That's wild. Unity had, at least before doing layoffs or whatever that are probably coming, or people resigning after the bad stuff, they had like 7,000 employees.
Yeah.
How does Unreal have fewer? How does the makers of Unreal have significantly fewer employees when they also make games?
How the fuck does the makers of Unity have more?
7,000 employees. Yeah, that's fair.
Like,
I guess they also own like Weta Studios and stuff too.
What if every Unity employee installs a game made on Unity? Do they have to pay?
No, the creator of that game has to pay them. So they just
what if
make
they all made their own game?
Yeah.
Speaking of downloading games and not being able to do that anymore, Sega is canceling Hyenas and quote some unannounced titles under development.
So I didn't mean to jump you. Did you guys play Hyenas?
I don't think it actually came out yet.
It had an open alpha 2 weeks ago.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
No.
Is that related
I played
to
I played the
Salinas?
closed. I played the closed alpha before that. So Hyenas was the best way to describe it is that game mode where it's a PvPvE and you're in an environment and you're trying to grab items or cash and then cash out before getting killed. So kind of like
Tarkov.
Dark Zone, Tarkov, Battle Royale, and a escape looter shooter in a way. It had a sense of humor to it, which was a little annoying because you were in a space station collecting artifacts like Sonic the Hedgehog plushies. I played the closed alpha. I completed the 15-minute tutorial, and then I uninstalled the game. It just felt real fucking mediocre right across the board, and I was like, not worth it. So I don't know. Part of this is like, hey, it's sad to see a game get canceled, but at the same time, it's like, I'm kind of happy they did because it's not really the industry standard. Like the industry standard is no, let's do a hard launch on this failed project. Let's pretend it exists for 3 months and then we either kill it or stop the updates and kill it 3 months after that. And I'm kind of glad that they're stepping forward in an industry and saying, no, this shit's not working. We're not going to waste any more time or money on this. And I think there's more games that could learn from that, quite frankly. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I kind of agree. The only thing that sucks about this is Creative Assembly is probably letting a lot of people go from this.
Mhm.
Also makers of all the Total War series. And I know that like Warhammer 3 has been having issues with them too. So like I feel like those layoffs that they're probably going to do might be a little more widespread than just Hyenas. And also says they canceled
Yeah.
other unannounced titles under development.
Yeah.
So that part sucks. Feel bad for the Creative Assembly devs.
Because the other thing was this was something brand new and out of the box for Creative Assembly to do a multiplayer FPS. And I hope this is not a smack the hand, go back in your box and do what you're used to. They're great at the Total War games, but I would love to see them take a shot at something crazy.
They've
to continue to do that. They did Alien Isolation, I believe.
Yeah,
right?
that's the thing I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm happy when someone beats sunk cost fallacy. Like good for them for beating it. But yeah, I would like to know the reasoning. Like if they came out with, did they say the reasoning behind it that it just wasn't
Behind Hyenas?
Yeah, by canceling Hyenas, or were they kind of vague about it?
Let me look. I think they were kind of vague.
This just says, response to the lower profitability of the European region, we reviewed the title portfolio of each development based in Europe, and the resulting action will be to cancel Hyenas and some unannounced titles under development. I think we all know that shit was not hidden.
Yeah.
It was not landing. It was not sticking at all.
Like,
so.
I always think it's the company's fault for announcing it and getting this close to releasing it and then canceling it. Like, if this hadn't been announced or anything at all and then canceling it, I think... I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying... if you were a better company, you would have done it earlier, obviously.
Yeah, it sucks that it got to this point and they canceled it instead of catching it earlier that it was not working and changing direction.
I'm not saying they shouldn't have canceled it. I'm saying they should have caught this earlier.
I will say, in their defense, though, having played the game, there is nothing wrong with the game. There is nothing offensive about this game. This game could have very easily been a big fucking hit. Like, do you remember Fortnite? Do you remember Fortnite when it turned from Save the World into a PUBG clone? And then we played it, and to this day, it still feels like trash. It's wild to me that game is as popular as it is. That's kind of what Hyenas is. It's like, it's not for me, but it works enough. Who knows if it's going to be a hit? So in their defense, they were probably it's okay to be public and to have these alphas to be like, are people going to get excited about this? And it very well could have. It for me, it's in that realm of like, who fucking knows if it's going to find its niche or not. It's not for me, but there may be some weirdos out there that like it, like Valorant. It's like, okay, we'll just see what happens.
That's a bit of a different example, but like it is entirely possible they've done play tests with people and gotten positive results, and then they did the alpha and people were like, wow, this sucks. Like it's not can't a bad happen. Game. Yeah.
It just didn't it's there's nothing bad about it. Everything is okay. Yeah. It's like it felt okay, played okay, and everything. It's just not sticky.
Okay is just not good enough for multiplayer shooters in the current landscape. Like,
I don't know. Have you played Fortnite? Fortnite's fucking okay.
I have played a little bit of Fortnite, and I was like,
being okay isn't enough to break into the new.
Well, and Fortnite's also doing other stuff. Like they have building and and
Star Wars.
I just mean
and collaborations and stuff like that.
There's a point. Yeah, I just mean there's a point where the quality of the game itself doesn't matter anymore. It's like some wild variable out there that the market's going to grab onto this game versus that game. And I think Hyena's cleared the bar for, is this game good enough to be grabbed by the market? And the answer is yes, but the market didn't grab it. Kind of like Rumbleverse. Yeah. It's like, there's nothing wrong with that game, just didn't get grabbed. That's all.
Or that bad car game that Sony came out with, where your mic was on the default.
Something destruction.
Destruction All-Stars.
Destruction All-Stars. Yeah.
No, that game was bad. That game was bad.
Also, we didn't put in the news, but like PlayStation Studios president
died. Yeah.
No, he's retiring in March.
I don't fucking care. You're right. We should be celebrating that.
Ian's quote was, "Ha ha, bye bye."
I didn't explain it, but he did have that quote last week where he's like, going forward, I do think Sony's core games should be like third person cinematic, like we have been making them. And I'm like, cool. They're gonna keep making fucking God of War, Last of Us, Uncharted over and over again with all their fucking IPs.
It's weird that he said that with how many multiplayer things they have going on.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, and as somebody who doesn't like those games, I was like, okay, I'm still out there.
I'm genuinely really curious if most of those games are not working and going to be canceled because he said that. Or if he just said that to appease people that were like, oh, we're getting away from Naughty Dog's going to be making multiplayer games because they're making that Last of Us one that seems to be taking a really long time. And rumor has it got rebooted a bit after Bungie looked at it. But yeah, I don't know, man.
Crazy. Speaking of multiplayer, Oculus Quest 3 was revealed today. You can join VR rooms with your friends. Yesterday.
You didn't have it on your calendar like I did?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
No, because I'm not stupid.
You didn't have an alarm to watch the video when it came out?
Still need to look at this because I
can't believe you watched it and I was the one to post it in the Discord.
I actually didn't, because they did something smart, which is when the press conference started was also the embargo time for all these YouTubers who got hands-on with it earlier. So as soon as the press conference started, I saw a tweet from Tested, which was like, "Hey, we got hands-on with the Quest 3. Here's the video." And I was like, "Oh, I'll just watch that instead." And I just watched that instead of the conference. And it was great. But let me give you guys the rundown on the Quest 3. So again, the Quest 3 is like the Quest 2 and the Quest 1. It is complete standalone VR. It is not tethered to a computer. It's not even like the Apple Vision Pro, where you have a tether to a belt computer type of thing for battery, etc. Key big things here are they're going from the single screen of the Quest 2 down to split screen. They're going to pancake lenses, which is basically, if you think about the depth of like the VR goggle box, it's roughly half of what it was before. They're also going to higher resolution displays. I don't know what the percentage is, but if I could just pull one out of my ass real quick, it's probably like 10 to 15% more resolution than the Quest 2. It's also a dual RGB camera for full color pass-through. So on the previous headsets, it was like basically the pass through is there's a camera on the outside of the headset, so you can press a button and see what's outside of you if you need to pick something up or interact with the world in a way.
That
It's never
was
really
helpful
been
for me getting my cat out of the way while I was playing VR games.
exactly, yeah, and they use it for painting your border and all that stuff. So don't hold me to this, but I believe up until now Quest hasn't really used that for games because the quality has not been great. And
Oh yeah,
I believe,
quality on the old cameras was shit. They didn't use it for anything. Yeah.
and even the Quest Pro did not have color cameras. I think they call it colorized monochrome, so it's a black and white camera, but then they apply a color filter to it or whatever. Anyways, this is full dual RGB camera, so it gives you full color. People have used it, said the fidelity is great, like they're able to pick up their phone and read their phone, and it's allowing Quest to go into mixed reality, which is where, you know, they're coming out with a game that plays on a table, so you're sitting in your living room, you see people around you, you see your living room in full color, and then there's the game on the table in front of you. So that's kind of the next big step. They changed the controllers a little bit, so they're supposed to be a little bit more accurate, a little bit smaller.
The rings are gone. Let's go.
I never hated the rings. They've saved my fingers a couple times from hitting stuff, but I'm okay with them. I either way. They're largely the same controller, minus the rings, like David said. And it is more powerful. It is much more powerful than the Quest 2. It's a new gen of processor. Key things, October 10th, it's $500 for the 128 gigabyte, $650 for the 512 gigabyte. David, you said you're interested in the, you have a Quest 2, is that right?
I have a Rift and a Quest 2. Oh, I haven't moved the Rift in several years, so
that's fair. Yeah. I have a Rift S, which requires the PC. And let me tell you, it's a pain in the ass having to plug that into my PC. I've probably used it for like 30 hours total. Oh, no, it's got to be more than that with VTOL VR. But I think what I really like, I've used my nephew's Quest 2 a couple times, and I pre-ordered this day one, and I was planning to as long as it wasn't super bad specs or anything like that. Because the crazy fucking thing about this, and the thing that fucking works, is that you can play games on the headset, or you can just wirelessly connect to your computer and play PC VR games on the headset.
Oh, do they have wireless PC connection now?
They have that for Quest 2 as well.
No, they didn't. It was shit. It was shit. It might be good now, but at least when the Quest 2 came out, it was vomit-inducing.
Yeah. So yeah, they have that on the Quest 2. They have it on the Quest 3. From what I've seen, it works very well.
That is a game changer.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so that plus genuinely, Oculus does a fantastic job with updates. Like you said, Quest 2 came out. It didn't have hand tracking. It didn't have. I think it went all the way up to 120 hertz now on the Quest 2, I believe, or maybe it's just 90 hertz. Like they were like increasing the hertz via software updates. They're adding hand tracking, so you don't even need the controllers. They were adding so much shit after the thing came out, like major features, the wireless play, improving that, etc.
A lot of those features they kind of touted some of them at launch, and then you got them, and they're like, "Ooh, this is this sucks." And those displays
have gotten better over the years.
The display thing is like when they advertise it, they're like the displays are this hertz, and then we got them. We're like, no, they're not. Yeah. And they had like some more screen dooring and weren't comfortable. I'm more excited because this looks more comfortable. It's a lot lighter too than the Quest 2. Like that's one of my problems with the Quest 2. I have a gargantuan skull, so it's like. True. The Quest 2, even with like the fancy straps, doesn't feel good, which is part of why I don't use it very much. Like I can't wear it for that long, and I need to go look at some videos I haven't yet, and see just how much better this one is before I pre-order.
Yeah,
but I'm interested in probably gonna buy it.
Yeah, I want to say I think people were saying it's the same weight as the Quest 2, but because it's literally like 2 inches closer to your face. It feels much more comfortable. It's not dragging your face down as much.
I definitely could feel that.
Yeah. So long story short, Quest 3 is finally out, continuing the Quest VR tradition. It is 1/7 the price of the Apple Vision Pro.
Don't buy that.
No, don't buy that.
Don't bother.
But Zach, we were talking about this. We were talking about this in the Discord, and Zach had a question, and it was like, it wasn't really a question, but it was kind of a statement of like, is VR finally worth the price point? And the thing that came in my head, and I'm not certain about this, but I'm hoping you guys can help me decide, is the PlayStation 5 is, let's call it $500. Let's ignore the disc list. It's $500 for a PS5. There are some very good PS5 exclusive games, but there's probably not as many as there should be at this point in the gen. But there's also plenty of cool games you can play on it.
Where that's not true, but go on. Well,
But there's games
I feel
you
like
can
that
play
won't
on
be
it that
true
are
by
on
the
other
end of
devices.
this year, at least.
That's fair. That's fair. There's games you can play it on other devices. So it's like a PS5 is not necessarily a must-buy device, but is it worth $500 for what you get to play on it? And when I look at the Quest 3 and what you get for $500 and that back catalog of VR games and the games that I can think of that work really
If
well
we're
on
arguing
it.
back catalog, PS5 can play PS4 and you lose your argument.
No, I'm not saying they're better, but I'm saying if you are willing to spend $500 on a PS5, I think you should be willing to spend $500 on a Quest 3, especially if it's your first VR device. I think it's worth $500.
I think it is, but that's a stretch of the. I feel like it is, but your argument is a stretch.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're comparable. I'm just saying if you're willing to spend $500 on a machine like the PS5, knowing that it's going to do stuff you could do with a cheaper machine, and the PS5 only stuff is there, but it's not necessarily $500 worth of PS5 only stuff, then by those same standards, judge the Quest 3. I think it's worth the $500. I think we finally hit the point where it's like, yes, the hardware is great for the price point, and there's a catalog worth playing. I think it's time to buy VR.
I think that was the Quest 2 because the Quest 2 was $200 cheaper than this. Quest 2 was $300.
I think the Quest 2 just still had a little bit of
Quest 2 still had
to it.
problems. I'm looking at the spec sheet difference between these two right now, and they're adding some things that I had a lot of problems with the Quest 2, like the lens separation on the Quest 2 just had 3 settings. It wasn't fluid. Quest 3,
yeah,
fluid. You can get anywhere between 58 and 70 millimeters. You can adjust depth again, which was also a problem I had with the Quest 2. So like, I'm pretty on board. Oh, and then just, I know you were talking about the pixels per eye sort of thing. For the
it's
Quest 2,
a little bit better than the Quest 2.
It's considerable. It's like looks like 20% ish. 1680 by 1870 on the Quest 2, 2064 by 2200 on the Quest 3, which is pretty significant.
Yeah. So, but the other thing is that
6 gigahertz Wi-Fi finally. Okay, yeah, I'm just going to order this.
Yeah. The other thing was the Quest 2. The Quest 2 ran games better than I ever thought it would, but it was noticeable because it was stretching that silicon that it was in there. And I'm just going to throw this out there. I don't know if this is accurate, but I think they're saying the Quest 3 is at least twice as fast than the Quest 2. And they were showing side by side of, this is the same game. This is what it would run on the Quest 2. This is what it looks like on the Quest 3. And I think that's a big jump too. I'm just saying that because that was I had a Rift S, Quest 2 came out, and I was like, is it worth the upgrade of the Quest 2? And I was like, it's not quite doing enough. It still seems a little bit less, but Quest 3, now's the fucking time. It's a new gaming console. It's fucking worth it.
Oh, VR's down to
now,
4
folks.
nanometer. That's why it got so much faster. Okay. They were on 7 nanometer for the old one. Okay.
Now's the time, folks. Now's the time for VR with the Quest 3.
I have considered purchasing one, but I'm waiting to be at your house to see if it fits over my glasses.
Well, I not a joke. I am going to shift you my Rift S.
I 100% know that, and I will gladly take the Rift S. But I also want to see if this fits so I can know to buy it in the future.
I did
the
hear
no
it's a bit
tether
tight.
is like huge. It is. That's huge.
Yeah.
I'd prefer that.
And even if you have
can,
the tether, you can just get a USB cable.
If you want to be really fancy, if you're really dedicated to VR, you can. I'm sure they're going to make them for this too. You can buy prescription lenses for the VR headset.
Oh, see, that's because I tried contacts and my eyes said, "Don't touch me, please."
Yeah.
So
No, they
they're
make.
on.
I'm sure someone
in
will
the-
make them for this because they make them for the Quest 2 and
No,
they
they
make
already
them
have
for most of the. Oh, they do. Okay.
Yeah, they're in the list of accessories that I was looking at.
Yeah,
So you can buy them
you
straight
can
from Meta.
get prescription lenses for this, so you
that
don't have to wear your
changed.
glasses.
But I would also like to know if they do fit over my glasses. But
I heard they do, but it's tight. That's what Norman Chan from Tested was saying.
yeah, but he has big, huge glasses. They're about the size of like a football. So,
I think they're like your size.
No, they're huge. I've seen them. in person. He stops
Well, how
by.
big are your glasses?
My glasses, they're about 3 nanometers, 5 They were 7 nanometers for a while, but now they're about 5.
It's a bad joke.
They're about 4
Anyways,
nanometers.
Quest 3,
okay.
folks.
Quest 3. I'm excited. Is your quest to get a Raspberry Pi?
Okay, let me ask you a question. Genuine question. Let me ask you. I want a genuine fucking answer. If you wanted a Raspberry Pi 5, now that they've been announced, how long do you think it will take you to actually get one?
7 years.
Yeah, like a year or two.
I think it was a year and a half for me. When they announced the Pi 4, I wanted one, and it was like a year and a half before I actually got one because of supply issues, availability, and just black market assholes, etc.
And you know what? They're still gonna have supply issues, black market assholes.
Yeah.
I think I got a Raspberry Pi 4 like the week it was released, and I didn't do anything special to get it.
It's one of those
You just got
things-
lucky.
Ian, ask me if I am going to buy a Raspberry Pi 5.
Are you going to buy a Raspberry Pi 5?
Yes, and ask me if it's going to sit around for a couple of years just like my Raspberry Pi 4. The answer is yes. You don't even have to ask me.
My second question is we both have the same problem, which is like we love the idea of it and we get it and we boot it up once and we go, oh, it's a really fucking slow Linux. I guess I'll do something on it anyways. I even went so far as on my Christmas list, Maggie got me one of those like 7-inch like touch screen monitors that lets you mount the Pi on the back, and I set it up and I'm like, this is fucking cool. Done jack shit with it. So
See, what we should do
they're
is we
cool.
should set up a business where we get to buy things, play around with them, and then ship them to other people. It's like,
Linus Tech Tips, except
Yeah,
you ship
exactly.
it to other people.
you know what? Someone mentioned the other day they run a business where they make the custom Game Boys, and I was like, I didn't even think about that. It's like I could just make custom Game Boys for other people. Like I
What do
should.
you mean you
do
didn't
that.
think about
Yeah.
that? That's
I don't
like
know. Just
all
never
over the
thought of it.
place.
I know, but
There's
like
so many
I
businesses like
buy I make the custom Game Boys because I find that fun. I don't immediately think
Oh.
I can do that and sell it for money.
It's just too stressful. It's like
Yeah, that's true.
like working on cars. Like I'll do like simple jobs like brakes and shocks with family cars, but I won't do anything more complicated with anybody else's car because I've had issues with a car where it's like, oh, I'm gonna touch this rusty bolt. Oh fuck, it snapped off, and it's not my fault. It's just rusty. And oh fuck, now I got to do the whole control arm, and fuck, there's $400 down the drain. And I'm like, I don't want to go to somebody and be like, hey, I was doing your shocks and you need a whole new control arm because a bolt snapped and I can't fucking get it out now, you know? So that if I had somebody ship me their like childhood Game Boy and they're like put an IPS in it, I would be like fucking shaking.
Oh
like,
yeah,
don't
I
fuck
would.
this up.
I would only do like you buy like I'll make them, you buy them for me.
You
like,
buy it.
or like
Gotcha,
liability.
gotcha.
I forgot how much fun that was building those other two. I have 2 more Game Boys. I'm actually gonna do it too, but I'm waiting for my nephews to be older so I can do it for them.
Watch them get bored
do it
while
for
you
that.
do it. What?
Yeah, exactly. Folks, that's gonna be
shit,
the.
They have the knuckle straps for the new controllers. Oh, sorry, I'm in the middle of pre-ordering my new Quest 3.
Before we
If you
go,
want-
I have.
wait a minute.
Fuck you.
Check out the Costco deal. Costco has a good deal on it if you do want to buy accessories with
Wait,
it.
what's the
etc.
what's the Costco deal?
I think the Costco deal is it's instead of $500, it's $599, but you get the Elite strap plus you get a gift card on top of it, and I think you also get another accessory with it. So you do save some money if you're planning to buy the Elite strap, etc. Anyways,
Yeah.
You
I only have
get-
the legendary strap.
I don't know if the Elite strap, because like that strap does not feel good on my head from the 2, so I don't know if I'll like that on the 3.
Oh, it goes in.
yeah, that's the thing. I'm gonna do the normal strap, and if it really pisses me off, then I'll go to the
Okay,
Elite
so you
strap.
get the
because
get the Elite strap, which is like $70, the carrying case, which is also like $70, and a $25 Metastore gift card.
So that's like a saving of like $45-50.
Yeah, it's like $1,000.
Basically.
More than that.
Boy math here, live on air.
Like $75, $65.
Yeah. So if you're planning on buying those things
I don't-
anyways, you could.
I'm
but
probably not gonna buy the case, and I'm probably not gonna buy the Elite strap. So
yeah, not worth it then. Fuck.
I built it. It's done.
is it the
Hey, good for
Concorde?
you.
It's done.
Nice.
Who wants
Oh
to
my
see
goodness.
Who wants to see
Don't drop it. Don't drop it.
Yeah, look at those
Isn't it so
wheels.
cool that you rotate like the tail?
Oh, you rotate its butt?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it has
You
a little
rotate the
tail
butt.
at the end, and you rotate that.
The,
It's so
like,
cool.
That's kind of cool.
Other than loving the Concorde, the design of this Lego model is so cool.
Mhm.
It's got like all these locking mechanisms and clutches, and it was a super blast. I rushed to finish today because I need the space to build my new PC, or not build, but
Mhm.
I'm moving to a new case.
Ah.
So that's what I did. Anyways, I wanted to show it off to at least someone, humans who might care. Wait, and the nose droop.
Cool.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
I forgot the Concorde does that. Yeah.
Nose droop.
What a weird plane.
Cool.
Don't drop it.
He's gonna drop it.
Oh my god. Drop it.
It would be
Drop
good
it.
content if he dropped it.
Drop it.
He definitely dropped something else instead.
Yeah, I dropped a bag of Legos.
Like, it would be good content if you showed that and then just dropped it on screen. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it
that'd be a
would've
good
been
TikTok right there.
You know what? I love it too much. Would you ask me to drop a child? Because I would. I love that more than a child. Speaking of loving children,
it'd just
folks.
be funny if you dropped either.
wait, no, wait, that was the wrong, that was the wrong intro.
No.
Folks, sorry, I'm too hot. Folks, thanks for being here this week. It was super fun to talk to you boys about the news and all the games we've been playing. You can find us at subpixelfilms.com. David, you can find over at the Save Data Streams. They do all sorts of cool stuff.
Save Data Team over on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all the things.
Thank you. And then Ian at Think Gibson on Twitter.
Hi.
I'm at Hunt270. We'll be back this weekend with some Spooky Pixel, so make sure you're there for that. We're gonna get scared, me and Kyle, and we're gonna look at our taxes and how old we're getting and just get scared. So we'll see you all there, folks. Bye.